What's up, Taiwan? I'm Rik Glauert with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A search team is combing a mountain trail in Hualien, looking for a Singaporean couple that have been missing since last week's magnitude 7.2 earthquake. As that search continues, the body of a missing miner was recovered on Saturday morning. The earthquake is now known to have killed at least 17 people. Visitors' numbers to the popular tourist sites of Hualien have plummeted since last week's quake. As John Van Trieste reports, it's driving souvenir shops that barely weathered COVID-19 to the brink.
For many souvenir sellers in Hualien, last week's 7.2 earthquake could be the end. Hualien's rugged beauty and indigenous culture make it a tourism magnet, but since the earthquake, visitors have been staying away. It's a fresh catastrophe for a region where tourism is still struggling to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Hualien Stone Art Street, where many souvenir shops are concentrated, used to have more than 60 shops. Now, there are just 19.
进不来讲的话，变成说我们这边也是没有什么客人，这边是国有地嘛，然后是说租金减免这方面。
In this instance, the government appears to be listening, as the street is indeed on state-owned land, land owned by Taiwan's railway company.
政府这边有必要来协助他们跟他们的房东这个铁路公司这个来协商有关于店租减免或减少的这个问题。
But not everyone is so lucky. With several hotels destroyed, many buildings damaged or condemned, and major draws like Taroko National Park closed indefinitely, tourism in this part of Taiwan is in trouble. And without intervention, those not on government land are going to keep feeling the economic pain. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
5 suspects face charges for the kidnapping and murder of a Vietnamese migrant worker. The suspects are accused of luring the worker, holding them captive, and extorting a ransom worth $8,000 from the family. They then allegedly suffocated the worker and hid the body in a field. Police arrested the suspects, 4 of them Vietnamese and 1 Taiwanese, on Wednesday. They are asking the court to deny bail due to concerns they may try to escape or destroy evidence. Taiwan has thanked the US, Japan and the Philippines after the 3 countries called for peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait during a summit in Washington. Ed Moon reports.
US President Joe Biden here, meeting with his Japanese and Philippine counterparts at a historic meeting, one where he promised that the US would defend these Asian allies in the face of rising Chinese aggression. But this show of unity did not go down well in Beijing.
美日非峰会和3边合作究竟是不是针对中国？看看3方发表的联合声明，白纸黑字，再清楚不过了。这不是针对中方的肆意抹黑攻击，又是什么？
In both Manila and Tokyo, leaders grow uneasy as China pushes its territorial claims. Here, in the South China Sea, Chinese Coast Guard has been blasting Philippine boats with water cannons.
And I want to be clear, the United States defense commitments to Japan and to the Philippines are ironclad. They're ironclad. As I've said before, any attack on Philippine aircraft, vessels, or armed forces in the South China Sea would invoke our Mutual Defense Treaty.
At the summit's end, a joint statement from the 3 leaders mentioning Taiwan, another target of Chinese territorial ambitions in the region. Taiwan, which relies on the US for the weapons it needs to counter the China threat, responded positively to the summit. We highly welcome and appreciate this first trilateral statement by the leaders of the United States, Japan and the Philippines on their firm position on cross-strait peace and stability. The meeting sends a clear signal that the US is determined to protect the status quo in this ever more turbulent region.
The defense environment in Asia will constantly be changing, so we should always continue to have those discussions. But what we can commit to right now and confirm, I think, for the long term, is the messaging around the strength of and resiliency of our alliances, partnerships, and friendships.
New alliances and fresh commitments like those agreed in Washington resonate throughout the Asia-Pacific. But for now, there are no signs China will be backing down. Andy Xue, Jaime Ocon, and Ed Moon for TaiwanPlus.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says deals made at a recent summit with the US and Japan will not affect China's investments in his country. Marcos and his US and Japanese counterparts signed a landmark agreement on economic, security and defense cooperation this week. The pact is viewed as a response to increasing Chinese aggression in the South China Sea, but Marcos said it would not put off its trading partner in Beijing.
I think in the years to come, we will begin to see the wisdom of it. We'll start to see, even actually not even years. Within the year, we will start to begin to see the wisdom of having that trilateral agreement and why it is a good thing to enter into.
Thailand has warned Myanmar not to violate its sovereignty. That's as junta forces face a humiliating defeat at a key border town. Another tense night on the Thailand-Myanmar border. As Thai security forces patrol their territory, anti-junta troops on the other side are routing Myanmar soldiers from a nearby town. Thousands of Myanmar people have poured into Thailand, worried that the embattled junta will retaliate against rebel gains with airstrikes. It's now just over 3 years since Myanmar's generals seized power in a coup, ousting the country's elected leaders and plunging the country deeper into civil war. Now, though, pro-democracy militias are gaining ground across the country. In recent months, the junta have lost control of vast swathes of land and key economic thoroughfares. This loss of the main hub of trade with Thailand is another big blow.
So every major backbone of the economy is gone. So if there is no, if the military is not financially able to secure, if they're not financially very strong, how can they buy, sophisticated, advanced military weapons to retaliate?
As the country's economy continues to nosedive, the people of Myanmar suffer. Inflation is through the roof and many towns and villages are cut off by fighting, leaving residents to rely on farming and foraging to get by. And as violence reaches the border with Thailand, the calls for peace talks are getting louder.
ตอนนี้สิ่งที่เราคอนเซิร์นมากที่สุดก็คืออยากจะเห็นความสงบเกิดขึ้นในเมียวดีนะครับไม่ใช่เพราะว่าเรามีการค้าขายอย่างเดียวนะครับแต่เป็นประเทศเพื่อนบ้านเราก็ไม่ประสงค์ที่อยากจะให้มีความรุนแรงเกิดขึ้นแล้วก็ถ้าสามารถที่จะพูดคุยกันได้เนี่ยในกลุ่มของเขากันเองเนี่ยเราก็จะมีความยินดีมากแล้วถ้าเราจะให้เราเป็นคนกลางเนี่ยเราก็พร้อมนะครับที่จะประสานงานให้นะครับ
This latest in a string of humiliating defeats for the junta is a definite boost for those who oppose their rule. But as the generals continue to cling onto power, it is the people of Myanmar who are paying the cost, their lives upended by war. Andy Shuer and Rik Glauert for TaiwanPlus. Multiple people have reportedly been stabbed in a Sydney shopping mall. Images show police and ambulances parked outside of a shopping centre in the suburb of Bondi Junction. A man was seen running through the mall with a large knife. At least 6 people are reported dead. A mother and a 9-month-old baby are among the injured. Police say they shot dead the attacker. No motive is yet known for the attack. The US has deployed warships to protect Israeli and American troops in the Middle East. The US expects Iran to carry out attacks against Israel in the coming days. Iran's leader has been threatening to retaliate for an attack on a diplomatic building in Syria earlier this month and for Israel's ongoing assault on Gaza. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on China, Saudi Arabia and Turkey to intervene and urge Iran not to escalate. Israel has also exchanged fire with the Islamist group Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. China sees millions of divorces every year. One man is working to turn these broken marriages into something positive. Harel Hughes reports.
For Liu Wei, heartbreak is big business. His factory in northern China crushes old wedding photos and turns them into fuel.
那么除了这个婚纱照，其实我们还会销毁，有的恋人分手，他的这个合影也会处理，还有一些就是朋友的合影，还有去世的人，有很多去世的人，他的这个合影呢，家人可能出于这个一些自家的一些目的吧，或者说决定吧， 也要把它的一些遗物在我们这儿进行销毁。
In China, divorce rates have skyrocketed, just as marriage and birth rates plunged to record lows. Once the world's most populous country, China has seen its population fall for 2 years. These trends worry Beijing, and officials are now doing what they can to promote starting families.
希望广大妇女振奋龙马精神，发挥半边天作用，为推进中国式现代化做出经国贡献。
But there are at least some Chinese women who aren't impressed with these efforts.
很多女性她们其实先算了一下数学题嘛，好像结婚没有那么划算，那我们就先不要结婚。另外就是自己其实这个时代自己把自己活得很好也是蛮辛苦的事情了。
And as factory owner Liu Wei knows, even for couples that do make it down the aisle, there is no guarantee of success. By his estimates, he has served over 1,000 clients, most of them women. The old photos are delivered to the factory, and Liu carefully paints over the faces of couples before the photos are crushed. Some clients even come to watch the destruction for themselves.
其实还真没有很多说出于恶意，其实大家拿这个出口气的不多，其实都是为了解脱自己，以解脱自己的心结为主。
For Liu and his thousands of customers, divorce is a chance for a fresh start. And with old photos turned into fuel, all that energy that went into failed relationships won't be going to waste. Alex Chen and Harel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Vice President-elect Bi Kim-hsiao has praised growing US-Taiwan ties under outgoing President Tsai Ing-wen.
蔡英文总统稳健的领导风格，也让台美之间维持非常畅通的沟通管道，也达到零意外的相互信任。
Xiao, who is also Taiwan's former envoy to the US, was speaking at a forum marking the 45th anniversary of the Taiwan Relations Act, or the TRA. The TRA governs the two countries' unofficial relationship. Xiao also thanked the US for its ongoing support and defense cooperation. A ban on feeding Taipei's stray dogs is dividing residents. Rik Glauert has this report.
In Taiwan, stray dogs are everywhere, even in the capital, Taipei, where packs roam an extensive network of riverside parks. Locals have mostly learned to live with them, but a new city ordinance announced in January bans feeding these dogs, and that's got some animal rights advocates up in arms.
我们很伤心很难过，希望台北市政府公园处你们撤回这条。
我们是在帮政府解决问题，不是在制造问题，所以请大家真的能够支持，我们不要禁止喂养。
But supporters of the ban say feeding stray dogs can be risky.
他们如果只有喂，然后根本就没有管理，那就会造成后续的问题，狗跟猫从路边冲出来，造成人家车祸，或者是有些狗会追人追车，导致人受伤。那请问是谁要负责？
The number of stray dogs in Taiwan has been growing since 2017, when euthanasia was outlawed. That's led to more attacks on some of Taiwan's endangered species, including grass owls, pangolins, and leopard cats. Researchers say that more needs to be done to keep stray dog populations under control.
野外或民众通报，看到没有系绳的浪狗，就应该要想办法把它抓起来，然后移置。不应该再让它放在野外，因为野外是野生动物栖息的地方，尤其是珍贵保育类动物。
With the ordinance just a few months old, it will still take some time to see its effects. But with supporters and opponents firmly in their camps, controversy over the rule shows no signs of going away. Devin Tsai and Rik Glauert for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Be sure to check out the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we sign off, we leave you with images of an annual canoeing competition between Indian and Sri Lankan athletes. I'm Rik Glauert, take care, and we will see you next time.